Hi, welcome to Bari Nation, where we support the bariatric community with humor, humility, and honesty.
You've just tuned into a podcast that welcomes you into a community, a resource center, and a safe place that powers your journey towards personal wellness.
Our goal is you leave us today feeling hopeful, inspired, and ready to live your best bariatric life.
Hey, Bari Nation, it's April. I have some really exciting news to share with you. We are this year's national sponsor of the TREO Foundation's The Walk. The TREO Foundation is working hard to improve access to obesity care for everybody and fund critical research that is improving the treatments that people can tap into. This year, their virtual walk to Stomp the Stigma is on Saturday, September 27th, and we want you to walk with us. Join our virtual Bari Nation team by clicking the link below in these show notes. Join the team, walk with us, raise awareness. When we come together as a nation, great things happen. Hi, Bari Nation. Welcome back to the show. Today, I have the honor of introducing you to Dr. Ricardo Cohen, the current president of IFSO. Hi, Dr. Cohen.
Hi, April. Happy to be here.
I'm thrilled to be talking to you today. We know that obesity is a rising epidemic in the world, right? We see the percentage of people who are suffering from the disease of obesity increasing. And today, I'd like to understand why that's happening and what patients all over the globe can do to kind of help lower the bar to access care. Before we dive into that conversation, though, I'd love for you to introduce yourself to our friends and followers who have not met you before.
Great. Thank you, April. As you mentioned, I'm the current president of the International Federation for the Surgery of Obesity, and I'm a bariatric surgeon. I'm based in São Paulo, Brazil, and I'm deeply involved in research in obesity treatment, obesity complications, the new definition of obesity that we kind of spent some time speaking about. I was one of the Lancet Commission experts involved. So we got a lot to speak about and dive into obesity and how we can fix or try to fix the obesity, to understand the obesity epidemic.
Yes. Well, and maybe that's actually a great place to start. How has the definition of obesity changed since your time practicing obesity medicine?
Actually, if you look at the obesity itself, the BMI, body mass index, does not tell the story because it doesn't tell us the fat distribution. It doesn't tell us mainly if that adiposity has any impact over health. So this is the current definition that has been forever with us. And if nothing changes, nothing changes. So what we want with the new definitions is to measure and to make a diagnosis as all chronic diseases, lupus, diabetes, so depression, all of them got signs and symptoms related to the disease itself. So we came out with this thing that defines preclinical obesity and clinical obesity. Preclinical obesity is a risk condition, so it's excess adiposity without any signs and symptoms, so no impact in health and life at the present, while clinical obesity is an impact on health and life at the present moment. So that's a definition of disease in all dictionaries. So this is why we came from moving away from corpulence, guilt, stigma to biology. So this is the main shift. So if we need to move the needle in the field, we need to have more people treated. We have to have more people monitored. We have more people to dive into pathways of care of obesity, clinical obesity, preclinical obesity, and all its complications.
Absolutely. And friends, we'll make sure that we link that Lancet report for you in the show notes. We also have two amazing conversations with some of your peers, Dr. Cohen. Dr. Ann Rogers and Dr. Jaime Ponce have both joined us on this podcast and spoken extensively about that Lancet report. So we'll link all of those in there as well.
Great.
So now that the definition of obesity and how it's classified and diagnosed has really shifted into this modern world that we're in, why are we seeing the rate of obesity increase globally, not just in the United States?
Exactly. This is a worldwide thing. And probably there's genetics, of course, as the base of the pyramid. However, we still have people who do not go into physical activity, diet, ultra-processed food. However, without the base of genetics, this epidemic will never happen. So we have the trigger factors, and we have the most known causal factor, which is genetics. So this is the perfect storm. So it's less activity, tons of times in the screen, ultra-processed food is cheaper, more attractive, maybe addictive. We still exactly don't know, plus genetics. However, April, I can tell you that if I tell any policymaker or a payer that we have 4 billion people with obesity without knowing their signs and symptoms like clinical obesity, it's not manageable. So yes, we have people with weight-based, the old classification of obesity, but some of them needs prioritization and others need monitoring and mitigating the progress to a current and present disease. So yes, we have a perfect storm of food, screen time, and etc., plus genetics. So Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I know from my lived experience with obesity, I think it was absolutely something I was genetically born with. But as my life progressed and my lifestyle changed, my stress levels changed, where I was living changed, I saw an explosive increase in my weight. Despite me being a very active human being, eating a mostly whole food diet, it just took a little nudge in some of those different areas that catapulted me to 326 pounds. And the shame and the frustration that I felt was paralyzing. It took me a very long time to get to this point where I made the decision to have bariatric surgery. And what I see in the Lancet report and what I see in kind of the modern landscape of obesity medicine is experts like you who are really saying loudly, this is a disease. This is not your fault, right? But you do have to choose to fight this. And obesity treatment is not a single thing. It's not just bariatric surgery, right? It is a multiple modality of treatment model. I will require different treatments than Jason or Natalie or you, right? If you're listening or watching, but you don't know what your individual treatment plan is if you don't go in and talk to an obesity medicine specialist about that.
Perfect. This is our pitch. There's no magic bullet for obesity. So as is a complex biological disease, without guilt, it's a biological disease. Please, listeners who are watching us, it's a complex disease that move away from guilt and go to biology. It's like cancer. It's a chronic and progressive disease. And yes, it's a condition, it's a disease that deserves treatment. And it carries along other diseases. We don't need other diseases to diagnose obesity. For example, we have diabetes and obesity. We have depression and obesity. So we don't need both to say that that person needs treatment. We need to treat obesity because it has an own badge. The badge says, I am a biological active disease and I need to be treated. So yes, the pitch is look for your doctor, look for your obesity expert, healthcare provider, and see if you need treatment now or you need to be monitored and followed up like preclinical obesity, or you have a condition, another disease like diabetes, that obesity treatment, regardless, clinical or preclinical, that needs obesity treatment, go for it because you need it.
Yes. Our kind of theme or our words for the year in Berry Nation is relentless curiosity. And the disease of obesity, right? We know it keeps us isolated. It keeps us stuck. It can paralyze us. And the mechanism that is really driving that is the fear and the guilt and the shame that we have around this disease, because so many people still believe it's 100% your fault.
And it's not at all.
And it's not at all. I love to kind of share this example, right? If you have heart disease or if you have diabetes, you have inadvertently done something along your life possibly to contribute to that. But it doesn't mean that those people don't deserve treatment.
Of course.
Right? And as a person with a disease of obesity, you can be doing everything right. Right? You can onboard surgery. You can onboard medication, lifestyle changes, community support, learning. The disease is still progressing.
All together. People need all together. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Exactly. And the piece that I think is missing for a lot of people is that progressive nature. We say all the time, right? It's a lifelong and chronic disease. but it progresses despite treatment. Just like some cancers will reoccur or progress despite treatment. It doesn't mean that you are not worthy of accessing that care, but it does mean you have to start and you have to engage daily with the fight against this disease.
Well, I have nothing to add. Perfect. It's perfect because we need persons like you. We need Berry Nation. We need our federation. We need the national societies. We at IFSO, we overrun 77 national societies, 79 with the new that will, they're incoming societies, but 77 currently, that all of us, obesity experts in all professions like dietitians, nutritionists, endocrinologists, health, primary care physicians, surgeons, we all need to engage our patients, people living with obesity, to look for treatment because it's not your fault. It's a biological and active disease, chronic and progressive sometimes. And the basis for everything is really lifestyle interventions. However, they're not a treatment. They are adjunctive to surgery, to medication, or both together. So we need a comprehensive pathway of care because this disease deserves and needs treatment.
1,000% agree.
Yeah.
And friends, if you're watching and listening to this podcast episode and you think you might be struggling through the disease of obesity, or you are actively treating it, if you are looking for a surgeon and a care team that will treat you with dignity and respect and will truly partner with you as you walk this fight against obesity, we have a resource for you. It's linked in these show notes and it's titled How to Find an Obesity Medicine Specialist. So we've given you questions, we've given you things to look for, and we've linked databases that you can go to find specialists like Dr. Cohen who really do treat this as a disease. So absolutely encourage you to do that. You are allowed to find a provider that works for you and fits you well. And we want to help you access that care.
Perfect. Yeah. Look for your doctor, look for your obesity expert, and take care of your life. It's not medication, it's not surgery, it's health gain interventions.
Yep. Now is the time, friends, to start thinking and treating the disease of obesity or your excess weight differently. There is no better time than now to really tap into expert obesity care. And we hope that we can help you along that journey. If you're looking for a safe community of peers and experts to help you, join Berry Nation. But absolutely download that guide so you can find a provider that works for you. Dr. Cohen, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, April. Thank you very much.
That wraps up another empowering episode of the Berry Nation podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, keep the conversation going by joining the Berry Nation membership community, where you can attend live support events, access on-demand resources, and find a caring community.
Join us at berrynation.mn.co. If you found this podcast valuable, help us produce it by becoming a $5 monthly supporter at berrynationpodcast.com.
And just remember, at the end of the day, you've got this, we've got you, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.